Think about the last time you saw a zebra. Yeah, I know that seems kind of strange. Maybe it was in a child's book, or who knows, maybe at a zoo. But think about this question though. Was it a black zebra with white stripes, or was it a white zebra with black stripes? That's kind of an internet trivia kind of question, and I actually looked it up and found out that zebras are inherently black and they have white stripes. So I guess, I don't know if you shaved a zebra ever, you might find that out. But this brings up the question of stripes. Many of our surfaces, particularly after they've been used, will have stripes on them. Maybe a shaft is spinning in a bearing and the shaft itself develops stripes after we've used it. Or a bearing shell perhaps is the softer part of an interface, and we'll see after use there are kind of hazy stripes along the interior of that bearing shell. Stripes are an interesting indication of wear, and wear is related to the shape of the surface geometry. Let's take a look at a wavy surface that's perhaps a bit rough. This surface has waviness, in fact, that's bigger than what we would call the roughness. The roughness being the fuzzy little fine features, and the waviness being the larger lumps. As this surface wears, we might find that the peaks become flattened, and we still have roughness in the valleys, and these flatter peaks turn shiny to our eye, or maybe sometimes material gets embedded in them. But these shiny, flat areas on top are going to cause this appearance of stripes in a worn surface. Now, our eye is not a great measuring device. It doesn't see depth very well. In fact, what our eye really sees is differences in slopes or differences in the scattering of light. For example, if light were shining down on this rough surface, the light is going to scatter off in lots of directions, and our eye might see that as dull or perhaps a bit darker. But if light hits a shiny part of the surface, almost all of that light bounces off in one direction, and our eye would see that as brighter. So let's dig a little deeper into this though. So our eye is going to see shiny and dull, and it's going to see some kind of spacing between the shiny and the dull areas. And that spacing is interesting because that spacing will help us understand if we're dealing with waviness or if we're dealing with roughness. Now, we've kind of drawn this classic picture in other Notepad videos of a profile that has some kind of wave. We would call these longer features waviness in red, and if we subtract those away, we're left with the finer features of roughness. Now, the separating point, the point where we say roughness is short wavelengths, we'll put lambda here as our wavelength indicator, and waviness is our long wavelengths. The point between is typically a wavelength that we'll call a cutoff wavelength of 0.8 millimeters or 30 thousandths of an inch. This is really important as we start thinking about stripes. If our stripes are farther apart than 0.8 millimeters, or if our stripes are farther apart than 30 thousandths of an inch, we are not talking about roughness, we're talking about waviness. The stripes are being introduced by a wave in the surface, not by the fuzziness in the surface. So as we unpack a worn surface and we're trying to understand root causes of failures, let's keep this in mind that roughness, as measured, say, with a skidded roughness gauge, is going to be the very fine features, not the features that show up as stripes. For a quick rule of thumb, and this is going to be a pun, so get ready, think of your thumbnail. The thickness of the thumbnail is around 0.8 or 30 thousandths of an inch. If the features are wider than your thumbnail, those stripes are waviness stripes, not roughness stripes. If you'd like help understanding the things you're seeing in your surfaces, reach out to us at digitalmetrology.com. We'll be happy to help. And no, we don't spend all our time learning how to draw zebras fast. We really, truly do love this surface stuff.